Hey y'all, so I'm on my lunch break and I'm doing some welding, so I'm excited about that. But I've said a bunch of times I am not a good welder. I'm not a fantastic welder, but that's okay. My friend of mine said he'd weld these together, no problem. But I had to get under the car and I had to tack it in place anyway just to keep the shape. So I did that, and once I did that, I started getting some confidence. I was like, maybe I could do this. So, little more, little more, little more. And it's not pretty, right? And you can see here, look at those welds. That is not awesome, There's a lot of bad here. But I'm showing you this because there's some good. Like that one looks okay. What I do there, I don't know. I'm going to have to run that by again. But what I am getting is penetration. So I feel like there's a trade-off here. I'm trading a nice looking weld for a lot of extra grinding. And that's okay. I'm just learning how to do this. But yeah, I think it's going to stay together. And I'll probably have to do this all twice. But the reason why I'm not a great welder is because I don't do this very often. So I'm just going to dig in there and do it. And you can too. It's just extra grinding. But all right, I'm back to it. Hope this gives somebody a little confidence to go ahead and go for it. All right, here's the second one. What? Dare I say improvement? I don't know, let's not go that far, but it's together. So that means, oh God, that's hot. That means that's still one step closer to getting that car running. So very excited about that. So that one's done. At some point I'll get to grinding these things down and then probably zip it one more time. And I'll show it to you before I actually put it back in the car. All right, back to work. Hello all, welcome back. This is Rustaholic. I'm Patrick, and we are still working on my 1969 Plymouth Fury. But we're coming to the end of this one. We're really close right now. You can see behind me, I got the final pieces of the exhaust dialed in, ready to go. I had some extra clear coat, so I went ahead and clear coated these anyway. So today, there's only a few things left to do. We've got to actually install the exhaust. Throw all the clamps on, make sure everything is tight, do our double checks, final inspection under the car, get it back down on the ground. We still have some digitals to do for the fan. We got to put all the fluids in it, and that's it. And then we just got to fire this thing up. So it's been about a year. If you don't know the story, we took it to Daytona last year for Turkey Trot. I had been driving it for about 8 or 9 months. Before that, it was a daily driver. It was running great. Took it to Daytona, had a great time. On the way home from Daytona, the transmission just started puking transmission fluid. The seals, the gears in there were totally shot. Took us a while to get everything out of the car. We did replace a bunch of parts in the transmission. I wouldn't say we rebuilt anything, but we replaced pretty much the entire pump and got a brand new converter, put it all back together. So it's possible later today we turn the key and it just pukes transmission fluid again. I don't even know. I'll probably cry if that happens, but if it does, then we'll move on to something else. But anyway, daylight's burning, and we only got a few things to go, and there is a real possibility that we're actually driving this car today. So let's just do it. I'm ready. Stay. All right, that's it. It's in. 18 foot-pounds on the inside, 24 on the outside. All right, this one's in. It's solid. We're gonna do the other side, and then we'll start doing some clamps. The exhaust is in, clamped up, and ready to go. Just one more thing to do on the exhaust, and then we can put the car on the ground. This is tempting, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it back just a little bit. Nice. There we go. That's the way I like it. Woo! A little faster than I like, but it's down. Alright, the car is on the ground, which is awesome. Time to do the digitals. So we got a new electric fan. Pretty excited about that. And just need to get this installed. I checked it out. I think I got it pretty much dialed in. Originally I was going to go here, because this is my ignition source here. But then these don't reach where I want them to go. If I put it over here, then the blue wire definitely makes it. The black wire to the sensor will need just a little jumper. And then these two still need help making it back over here to power. But I actually have red and white wire, so that's why I'm going to go here. So I'm going to install the relay down here, and then start adding wire to these, making these longer. And then I'm going to have to do something up here because I already have stuff wired into it, so I want to add a third option. I think we're going to do something different. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll figure it out. But I'm going to mount this over here. I'm going to make these longer, and then I'll bring you guys back. We'll see how it is. Okay, we're back. I got everything extended. You can see needed to add a little bit more here. We got the switch, temperature switch is long enough now with a little yellow extension here. The blue is going to be fine. It's going to connect to the fan here. I just need to cut that to length. And I've got the red running down here. I'm going to run it underneath the fan and back up to the battery there for the shortest distance. And then I think we'll be good. I still have to deal with something up here. I think I have an idea. We'll see if I've got the stuff. But let me cut the rest of this to length, hook up whatever end pieces we've got left, and I'll bring you back when I figure out what I'm going to do here. Alright, doing it. Alright, we've got updates. I'm even to zip ties. Something satisfying about zip ties. Got the fan wired in. Got all this dialed in here. I got the power wire going under the radiator, and it's popped up over there. We'll go ahead and connect that when it's time. And then really the only thing I have left is ignition on. And that's coming up here into this mess. All of this, these here are ignition on. This is going to my AFR gauge. And I want to change something here, but I don't have what I need. So I'm going to do a little something funny just to get this wire connected here for right now, because I want to get this thing started. And really, once this is hooked up, we've got adding the fluids. That's it. Adding the fluids. And we can actually try to start this thing. All right, I'm on it. I know, you're tired of waiting too. I'm on it, doing it. All right, here's my solution. I split the split. Split the split. Just pried this open and wedged 2 spades in there. So pretty tight again, and it'll go temporarily. I'm going to come back in here and fix all that once we test on this a little bit. But I'm going to put some electrical tape around that and move on to fluids. All right, fluids. So I'm going to go ahead and use T4 and 15W40. And I'm using the T4 for 2 main reasons. One, I feel like I've been sufficiently trained by Derek to use this stuff. And 2, I have used it for a while now. And when I first put it in my Corvair, I noticed the difference. Everything just ran smoother. So I don't know if that's fact or fiction, but since then, that's what I've been using. So gonna go with that. Gonna use this Valvoline Full Synthetic Max Life for the transmission, and we'll see how that goes. Well, we were real close. Look, I got a vacuum gauge, I got my timing light, I got everything hooked up, rechecked everything. Even remembered that this needs water. And then I noticed it. I'll show you guys in just a second, but transmission's already leaking. My worst nightmare has come true. Didn't even get it started. It's not even under load. And it's just pouring out the front. So I don't think we're going to get this to Daytona. Super sad about that. But let me show you my sadness. I don't know. I might just fire it up anyway, just to hear it, just to let it cook all the exhaust, warm everything up, let it dump the transmission if it wants to. What the hell? But at least for today, that took all the wind out of my sails. So maybe you'll come back and check it out in a little bit. But that's all for me right now. But all right, I'm back. That took me about 2 minutes to decide. I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing up. Because I want to hear it. And if that transmission has to come out again, so be it. But I'm not going to pull the whole drivetrain if that's the case. We'll just lift it up in the air and we'll just take the transmission. Yep. So we're not going to undo this work. So let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. All right, next up is I'm going to go ahead and turn the key, see if it'll crank over. It doesn't have any power to the distributor. There's no fuel in the carburetor currently, so Just want to see if it's going to build oil pressure, let everything start spinning around. Let's see how that goes. Alright, it's starting to build oil pressure, so that's good. I'm going to do a couple more little rounds. And then, let's see, is the fuel pump working? Doesn't look like it yet. Alright, it's building a little pressure. Let's put some fuel in the bowl. Click it and see if we can't get it to bark off. Hey y'all, Patrick back. So I was having a really hard time starting this on Sunday. Well, in fact, it wouldn't start at all. And it was already a long day, so I took a break and came back to it. So after going over everything one more time here, I found that I in fact was 180 degrees out. So I'm going to pull the distributor, rotate it back around, drop it back in, get everything buttoned right back up, and hopefully we'll actually get it started this time. Whew, let's do it. All right, this is it. We're going to go live here. We're going to actually try to get it started. I got everything buttoned back up after being 180 out. Sheesh. Anyway, hopefully that is the problem, and we can get this going. My goal for right now is just to get this barked off, because I'm on my lunch break right now and I got to get back to work. So we're just going to hear it bark off as long as it fires. I wanted you guys to be here for that. And if it does, we're just going to shut it back down and we'll do the tuning for it in a day or so. But for right now, let's just see if it'll make some noise. All right. Look out, cat. You don't want to be in here for this. Go on. Go on. All right. Ooh. Ho, ho, ho! We got action. Am I still getting squirt? Oh, it's running out of gas anyway. Alright, stand by. We'll come back later this afternoon and we'll get that fuel problem worked out. It's still not pulling it from the tank quite yet. So we'll get that fixed and then we'll come back. All right, again, let's try it. We got some success, and that sounds amazing, but can't go too long because there's this whole operation about curing these the paint on these headers, and I'm just not ready to do it right now. So I'll bring you guys back, and we'll get this thing totally dialed in. But man, that sounded good. That tone was deep. It just like the whole car was like. Ah, sight. So good. So good. Okay, it's been a few days since we first fired it up. That was really exciting. Today what we're going to try to do is just do that again and keep it going. And we're going to try to get the setting, or the timing set. I got the vacuum advance set up correctly. I noticed in the other video I wasn't getting good vacuum at idle, so now I should be. I got the timing gun ready to go. I've turned my idle mixture screw up half a turn to bring the RPMs up just a little bit during this initial phase. And my one concern so far is it doesn't seem like we're getting fuel from the tank yet. I did pour some fuel down there. I made sure that it was getting through the fuel pump. I did fill the bowls, and I should be ready to go. So as long as we get fuel coming from the tank, we should be able to keep this going. Our second goal after we get this going is there's a very specific pattern for curing the paint on these headers. So it wants me to run it at idle for 10 minutes, let it cool for 20, then run it again for another 30 minutes, and then let it cool. So I'm hoping during this first run we can get it running, get fuel from the tank, sustain it, and maybe even set the timing in that first 10-minute run, and then we'll let it cool. So let me get it set up, and we'll see how that works. That's good. I got some vacuum at 12. AFR has been doing nothing. for the rest of the time, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. Then I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, let it cool, and then we'll come back and see what else is left. Wow. Let's see if it's puking transmission fluid right now. Alright, it's done cooling. We're going to start it up again, and for this round, this is the 30-minute round. So we're just really just going to let it warm up. I still got about, I'm at 20 for the vacuum. I think I was at like 22 when I pulled the engine. I'll have to check my notes. But that's pretty close, and it's good enough right now to go ahead and finish the curing process for the headers. So we're going to fire it up. We're going to do that. One thing to note, also, we looked and it wasn't leaking transmission fluid. That gave me like a sliver of hope for like a second. And then I checked the stick there, and in fact it was pretty empty, or at least not registering on the stick. I did put some more transmission fluid in it. I realize I'm wasting it, but there's this like little sliver of hope that maybe after it warms up, the seals will puff up and it'll just stop leaking magically, and we'll actually be driving the car. No, that's not happening. We have to start realizing that really what we're doing is going to be planning on removing the transmission one more time. So still wrapping my head around that, but we're going to fire it up. We'll let it go for the 30 minutes, and also during that time I'll bring you to the back and let you hear that exhaust. It really does sound good. So let's fire it up. Oh, also the fan kicked on right before I was about to shut it off, and also I realized that I had this cap off and water started gushing up all over the place. So we know the fan works, that's good, and the magic thing in there that opens and closes, that's working too. So there we go. So now we'll close it up and hopefully we won't have a mess. Will it go key only? Currently it's not leaking, but I don't trust it for a second. I'm going to get maybe in a little bit, I'll actually put it in gear, put the camera down there, and you guys can tell me if it's puking or not. We'll see. Well, we got real close to a win. The transmission is definitely still leaking, though it doesn't seem to be like gushing under load. It seems to like actually under load stop leaking, or at least it's not increased, you know. Previously you put it in gear and it would just gush out, but now it just seems steady almost no matter what you do. It's just got a constant drip. So I don't know, maybe that converter was just barely too small. Maybe that seal isn't the right size. I don't know, but transmission's got to come out. We don't get to drive around the block. There's no burnouts happening, nothing like that. It is what it is. So we'll move forward. Next steps probably is looking into pulling that thing out without the drivetrain, which I have to be honest, I've never done that. I've always pulled the drivetrain out as a group, so pulling the transmission out all by itself will be something new I haven't done yet, so we'll have to check that out. But I really appreciate everyone's support. I really appreciate the comments, so please keep them coming. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll keep going with the Fury until we can drive it. That's the main goal. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.